Not updated for us yet.
Not yet, right?
Yeah, still nothing.
Just a moment. I missed one click again. Okay, now this is looking good. Hello and welcome to a new.
I see us already.
Yeah, welcome to a new live session from Teleskop-Service. It's been a while. It's now since April we hadn't a live session yet because of, let's say, a little summer break. But now it's time again to restart our series here. Every 2 months we will try to do a live session on the weekend, always around the full moon, because we are thinking that's the best time for astronomers to have a little break on the PC and just watch some content here. As usual, we will talk a bit about astronomy, astrophotography, and as always we have also a special guest today, because we have a new ambassador in our Teleskop-Service team, which is Sophie from Germany. And I'm really happy that she joined our little team here. And so she will give a little talk today and talk about her astrophotography, about her equipment, maybe, don't know exactly. But I'm really looking forward to it. Unfortunately, Yasha is not joining today. He is abroad, so but next time he is there again. Just some few other things what you can expect in the next, let's say, 2 hours. We are always trying to limit it to 2 hours, so also for you guys, please keep an eye on the watch. So we will then also show some of the images we took over the summer. I think so. It's not discussed yet, but I'm pretty sure everybody captured some nice stuff over the summer. And I will also do a giveaway at the end of the session. As usual, as done in the last sessions, I will give away a voucher for the Teleskop-Service shop, over 50 euro. The only thing you have to do if you want to participate is to write this hashtag giveaway, just a moment, that one, into the chat, and then you are able to participate. Just have to set up some more things here, sorry. Okay, now without further ado, I would say I will give the word to Sophie. So thank you again to be part of the team, and thank you for joining us. You will of course be a regular speaker then in the next sessions, and we are also looking forward to that. And the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm new here. I'm Sophie. I'm from Bavaria, near Augsburg. It's like 1 hour away from TS, so not too bad. I'm 24 years old and I'm a software engineer. And today I want to tell you my story, how I got into astrophotography. So I think I'll share my screen now. Let's see. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't see you anymore. Anyways, my journey started with my dog, which is kind of interesting, but he got me into astrophotography because he's pretty smart. He knows over 200 tricks, and I wanted to film those tricks and upload them, so I bought a DSLR camera and a lens, and that was 70 to 200, 2.8. And I also was interested in other photography stuff like cars and landscape too. And I looked around the internet what else you could shoot with such a lens. And then I saw an image of a galaxy, and I was like, hold on, you can shoot a galaxy with a 200mm lens. It was Andromeda, obviously. I didn't know it was 5 times as big as the moon back then. That was exactly 2 years ago, it was in May 2020, so a bit more than 2 years now. And I got super excited because I didn't know that. And so I read everything about Astro, about how to shoot a galaxy with my DSLR and my lens without a tracker or anything. I didn't have anything. And I was super hyped up. So I waited for the next new moon and asked my sister if she would join me to a little trip outside of the city. And here she is under the skies. And yeah, my plan was to shoot Andromeda, but it was May. So you can guess Andromeda was very, very low on the horizon. But nonetheless, I wanted to try it. And as you can see, this was the location we were at on this day. There is like so much light pollution going right into the sky. It's so disgusting, honestly. I didn't even know that, and I just noticed it as I was outside and looking at the Milky Way. But anyways, Andromeda was pretty low and right inside one of those light domes, but I tried it anyways, and I set up my camera, took the first shot, and I was so amazed as I saw that little fuzzy blob on my 2-second exposure. And this is the image I got in the end, so nothing special, pretty bad actually, but I was just so excited, like holy hell, that was possible. And I don't know, around, yeah?
Sorry to interrupt. Is this your first image, Sophie?
This was my first image, my very first one.
It's actually very, very good for your first image. Besides the beautiful block photo, this is actually really good.
No, thank you. I mean, I didn't know what to expect. I just saw the images online and was like, okay, this doesn't quite look like what the other guys got. But, I mean, you can see it's a galaxy, so I was pretty happy with it. Anyways, 2 weeks later, I read in the news that there's a comet approaching Earth. It was Comet Neowise. And again, another astronomical event which kind of pushed me into astrophotography, because I couldn't wait for the night. I was finally able to see it, and I remember it was like 4 a.m. in the morning, and I got up and I looked around to northeast, and I saw that comet, and my heart skipped a beat. Then I ran inside, took my camera out, and I took this shot. I don't know if those are high clouds or noctilucent clouds.
Noctilucent for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty cool then. I didn't know you were able to image them so low in latitude. I thought that's just like for Norway and Sweden. But yeah, it was a pretty cool night. But then again, I went online and had a look at the other images from the comet, and I saw those people had images with 2 tails. And I was like, hold on, I only have 1 tail on my comet. And I looked in the description of those images and I saw, oh, they are all taking like 1-minute exposures, 2-minute exposures, and I was only taking 2 seconds. So yeah, I had to get a tracking mount, and it didn't take long until I got one. Neowise was around still, luckily. So this was my setup back then. And as you can see, I learned my lesson, and I never imaged from the garden back then. I drove to pretty dark skies whenever possible. And yeah, this is the comet image I took in the end. The denoising is pretty rough, but anyways, I got my blue tail. So that was pretty exciting. And for my next plan, I wanted to shoot a Milky Way image again, because the first one with my sister was pretty underwhelming with all those light pollution I had. So I drove towards the Ammergebirge. It's a Ball 3 zone in Germany. And I put my sister up on a mountain, and behind her was the Milky Way. So it's sort of a composition shot. Like I had 4 minutes, 1 minute tracked 4 times 1 minute, minute exposures, and my sister in front of it. I don't know, was it 2-second exposure maybe? And this was the image I got, and that was pretty damn amazing, because I took this image and I checked it. I had no idea I was even able to image those nebulae, because I've always read, if you don't modify your camera, you can't photograph any nebulae. And then I saw them on my screen after a single sub, and I was like, what is this? How am I able to see them? I didn't even know anything about the Lagoon Nebula back then. I just saw it. I felt like Christopher Columbus discovering something special. I don't know. But that was a pretty exciting night again. And
what lens did you use here, Sophie? Because it looks like it's a zoomed up lens to see the center
yeah,
of the Milky
it's
Way.
the 70 to 200 again, but at 70 mil. It's a mosaic though, because I didn't even know the Milky Way was that big, because when I imaged it with a wide angle lens. And I was on that mountain. I only had that one lens with me. I was like, hold on, I can't even fit the Milky Way in my field of view. So yeah, that was also my first mosaic I took. And that's one of the images. Like often when you take images, you look back and you're like, I could have done this better and I could have done this better. But it's one of those images which I still really, really like. And I don't know if I wouldn't do anything different if I do it again. But yeah, this kind of got me hyped to try to get more into nebulae photography. And I was like, hey, come on, I have an unmodified camera, but I managed to get those nebula. What else can I get? And so my plan was to shoot the Elephant's Trunk Nebula unmodified. And everyone told me, hey, come on, that's impossible, don't do this. But yeah, I tried anyways. This is the result. It's not too too bad, but you know, you can see some of the H alpha. I was pretty happy with it. I think it was about 5 hours of exposure. Back then, I didn't even have an intervalometer. I manually pressed the shutter button. Well, not the shutter button. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't know why I did this, honestly. I didn't press the shutter button. I had the phone app, but I pressed it on the phone for 5 hours.
So your phone was the interferometer, but
more or less, but it wasn't. I still had to manually press it.
You captured a lot of dark data, a lot of clouds there, a lot of detail. With a non-modified camera, there's not much you can want more. Great image again.
Yeah, thank you. I remember one night I was sitting outside capturing data and I just fell asleep while waiting for the next exposure. Yeah, because of those manual shots. But yeah, I took a couple more images like this, but I don't want to show all of those images. So my next challenge was I got a new camera lens, a 600mm for wildlife. And I was curious if the Star Adventure, the mount I got back then, was able to carry it and get decent results with it. So this was my new setup. Then I finally got the intervalometer. And yeah, I also started automating things, which was pretty nice after doing it manually for far too long. And it actually worked really well. Here, this was one of the first images I got with it. This was like after being half a year into astrophotography. And I don't know, those stars are pretty damn good if you zoom in. It's not too bad. I'm actually surprised by this lens because it's a zoom lens. It's 150 to 600 at 6.3. So it's quite slow too, but it was damn impressive for me to take these images.
Yeah. Sophie, did you auto-guide it? There was a second scope mounted?
Yep, I got a guide scope.
With right ascension guiding?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And you use the Skywatcher that most people use with a DSLR with 60mm lenses. And you got those stars. You should talk to Skywatcher and give him that image, because I don't think a lot of people can do that with a 600mm.
It's getting even better because that little tracker is really damn good.
Mm.
But yeah, without guiding, no chance. But with guiding, it does super well. But yeah, with such a slow lens, shooting any emission nebula was no longer possible. And I also wanted to keep imaging during the moon nights. So yeah, I got an H alpha filter and I modified my camera. And it went pretty smoothly. I mean, it was the first time I did it, but anyways, I just had a little bit of sensor tilt in the end, but I'm able to adjust it by adjusting the bayonet in front, so it's okay. So yeah, I already told you about what's coming next. There's an even more impressive image with the Star Adventure because I actually managed to take 5-minute exposures with it. And this is an image I took with only 5-minute exposures, and I didn't delete a single exposure between those. Like, it's incredible what that mount is capable of. I don't think it's the mount.
I don't think it's the mount. I think it's the user. I'm just saying.
That's really impressive.
I actually agree on that.
I just look at that. Those stars are so small and so round.
And this was your first image with H alpha. Let's go back. So that was
that
your
wasn't
first...
the first image with H alpha.
Okay.
Hold on. Here's the timeline, sort of. Okay, the first image with H alpha was the Horsehead Nebula, but it turned out really bad because it was super noisy. But then I actually took this one with that H alpha filter. Another image which I'm really, really proud of. I took this at -16 degrees in the winter. I was freezing to death, but it was worth it.
Yes.
I mean, at least I don't need to cool the camera if it's -16 degrees outside, so that's good. Wrong image. Hold on. We stopped here. Yeah, anyways, but this was sort of the best I could do with the Star Adventure. And that was, I don't know, I think around March 2021. And in April, I got my job as a software engineer. I graduated. I was studying computer science and engineering. And well, if you get a job, you have to spend the money. So I had to get a real scope, and that was the TS Optics ONTC, the 8-inch version of 4.5. And I love this scope. I mean, I don't love collimation too much, but luckily it pulls collimation really well. So once it's said and done, I don't know. I don't really need to do much until I start changing stuff again. But it's pretty damn heavy. I can't set it up on my own, like with my noodle arms. Software engineer noodle arms can't do that.
I have a question. I know you have more power in your fingers from the engineering, but how long did it take you to put the camera underneath the Newtonians? That's something that a lot of people don't know, because to balance a Newtonian properly, the camera has to be in that location. How long did it take you to balance it like that?
Didn't take long, because since I read about how to take an image with a 200mm lens, I didn't spend a single day not reading about astrophotography or interacting with it in some way. So I sort of knew everything beforehand, and I just had to put it together.
Speaking of the gear, how happy are you with the CM70?
I love it. I mean, it had a huge issue as I got it. It had 5 seconds declination backlash. That was pretty awful. So I had to tune it a bit and tighten the belt. But now that it's tight, it's running super smoothly, like 0.4 arc seconds usually, or 0.5. So no complaints there. It fits really well with the ONTC.
Also, the colors are right with the ONTC, like it's all black. I really like the setups that are also like color correct, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. And I have the tribe here underneath, which is also black and white. So yeah, hold on, I have this image right there. Don't look at the cable management, by the way, but this is how my solution for not having to set up every night. I just have to roll it in and out from under the roof. This is, I saw this at Chuck's Astronomy, his YouTube channel. He does it exactly the same. He's rolling his scopes out in and out of the garage. And yeah, I'm just doing it the same way with the same.
Do you mark the location for your polar alignment? Because you have to roll it in and out. How do you do that?
I sort of have in mind where I need to put it. It's just the fine adjustments which I need to do, but I have the camera in the CM70.
The iPolar,
just, right? Yeah, it's super easy to pull align, so I don't have to mark anything. It takes me 1 minute or so. It's like nothing. But yeah, anyways, with that scope, I can finally get pretty damn amazing images. Like, look at this. This was with coma corrector, my last image. I mean, you've probably seen it, but it's just, it's a dream, honestly. This is the perfect scope. Like, no regrets. 10 out of 10 would buy it again. yeah, so here we are, and this was the last image. So this was the
What
journey.
camera are you using here, Sophie? I'm not sure.
The ASI 2600 MC.
Beautiful camera. Nice job.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Like this was only 8 hours of exposure, RGB, with a hint of O3 here. I took like 11 hours of data with the L Extreme, but I didn't even use any of my H alpha data because it was so red anyways. Like no need to make it even redder, and yeah, just put this little bit of O3 in there so it's not completely red. But it wasn't worth to waste like 11 hours on it when I don't use it. But RGB data was good enough. Yeah. And well, I'm still a sort of person who likes to test things and push it to the max. So I had a couple of, here, this one. This is probably my favorite image. It was 100 hours of exposure, same setup. And yeah, I was so happy that I managed to reveal this faint H alpha thing here with an OSC camera. Like I didn't know if how much data I would get, but it turned out pretty damn good. I even have some, I can't zoom in here. Hold on.
Did you use any filters here?
The L Extreme for H alpha.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, those little H alpha blobs. I was pretty surprised to find them because I thought this is IFN in front of our galaxy, but it looks like it belongs to Bode's galaxy. Not sure.
And this is stunning. The IFN is beautiful. What Bortle sky did you go to do this? Because it doesn't happen in the backyard, does it?
It happened in the backyard. I'm in Bortle 4, but I'm really damn close to Bortle 5. I mean, you've seen the cities around here. I'm like in the this is the south, and I'm in my backyard is in the north, like exactly same amount of distance to the city from the spot where we were. So it's right at the border of Bortle 5, but this camera is just amazing, I guess. I don't know. I mean, after 50 hours of exposure, did a decent job revealing all those faint details. But yeah, my next challenge is getting even more crazy because the thing I'm going to photograph next is a lot fainter than this. So I think I at least need about 200 hours. I don't know why I do this, but I'm like, I have this image in mind and I just want to get it and do everything to get it. So I'm going to spend the next 3 months on just that target. Luckily, it's circumpolar, so it's in the constellation Cepheus.
I also spent like 3 months on one target, but I get like 20 hours. Where do you get the clear nights?
Same here, yeah.
Time to move to where Sophie is living because she has a hole in the clouds.
I don't think so. I have like no clear skies in winter, but right now.
Well, we don't have any skies in the winter too, so where do you live?
I mean, I'm living basically right next to TS, so why not? Come here.
And do you push your camera in at all in gain and offset? Do you do anything on it? How far do you go? Because there's a balance, right, between getting enough high dynamic range and getting too much light collected. What settings do you use for your 2600?
When I'm shooting RGB, I usually go with gain 0 because gain 100 already blows the stars out way too much, and I like those. Let's have a look here. Those are very colorful, non-blown out stars. So this was also gain 0. And when I'm shooting narrowband, I usually go to gain 100 and offset 50 every time. So nothing too special, I guess.
Yeah, not bad. And since you're shooting at f4, the scope already is pretty fast, so why not shooting at gain 0?
Yeah, I used to shoot at f4, but now with the paracore coma corrector, I'm at f5, unfortunately. But I'll take it for the perfect stars, I guess.
I mean, the reduction is always the worst. Sorry, Peter, go on.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, this one was the first image I took with the ONTC telescope and the ASI 2600. And this is also probably one of my favorite images because the star field is so amazing. Like,
can you tell us a bit about the processing? Because I hope you have processed it, or comes it out of the camera in that way? It's unbelievable.
I'm stacking an AstroPixel processor, and well, for this image, it probably came down to how I stretched it. I like to do things manually. I don't like using scripts or any processes which are predefined. So I play around with histogram transformation and the arcsine stretch to kind of keep the colors and not to blow out the core, but also to not oversaturate those colors. And well, that was pretty much it. I think I did HDR on this one though, but it was 1 year ago. I can't remember what exactly I did.
These stars look really beautiful.
Thank you.
This is, again, you have a lot of firsts, and this is marked as a top image, so the AstroBin knows what they're doing. And did you say, what software do you use? You said you use AstroPixel Buster for your stacking. What about your actual processing? What software do you use?
Yeah, I use PixInsight, and for the final touches, I use Affinity Photo. I mean, it's basically like Photoshop, but I like it a lot more. Also, it's able to process 32-bit images. I think the last time I checked, Photoshop wasn't able to do that for some reason. But Affinity is pretty good. It also has a small amount of astrophotography tools, but I don't use those because, yeah, I like to do things manually.
Incredible work, Sophie. I feel like you say you're a beginner, but that's lies. You've read the big manual you see in the GIFs about astrophotography. That's 50,000 pages.
Yeah, as I said, no day without astrophotography and reading into it.
I'm waiting for NASA to see some of these images. Hopefully they're watching some of your images because they're stunning, and you get an APOD because at the experience you have and the gear you have, this is amazing. Nice work.
Yeah, I've submitted a few images to APOD already, but I've managed to get into the story one time on their Instagram. But that's about it, I guess. This was with this image here. So maybe that's one reason why I go for those 200 hours, because looks like those are not enough yet. And you get even better and more data to work with, I guess.
And how much data do you typically throw away? So when you're doing like 200 hours, is that 200 hours that you stack, or are you chucking some of that data away?
I barely throw away any data. It's just when I don't set the time right, or when clouds are rolling in, like when the sun is rising and I have to throw away the last 3 or 4 subs maybe. But the guiding is so good. I don't have any issues with the stars, and as long as no clouds roll in, I can keep all of my data.
You're very lucky with the weather, I must say.
I'm not too lucky, but I guess I don't sleep much. So if there's a hole in the sky, I use it most of the time, unless the moon's out.
Sleeping and astrophotography don't get together a lot. You will find that out more and more.
Yeah, we had that heat wave for the last couple of days, and I don't know, the first days were actually pretty hard because I didn't have much sleep, but somehow my body adjusted to it, and the last 2 days they went super well. Like I was awake to like 2:30 a.m. I think, and I woke up at 7 a.m. again. So not a lot of sleep, but I guess it was enough. Unless I fall asleep now. So wake me up if I do that. I don't know. But I'm feeling pretty good, even though I'm not sleeping that much. But I guess I'm young, I can do that.
Okay, so yeah, you left us pretty speechless, I think. I never saw a more steep curve in quality terms here. That's
Thank
so
you.
we are really looking forward to your next projects.
It's definitely setting the bar for all of us, eh?
Yes, exactly. I'm a bit afraid.
I mean, I think you know I've told you what project I'm going to do, but I guess I'm going to show it to the stream because it's quite interesting.
And we'll
sneak
just
preview,
say,
that's
we'll
okay.
just, we also want to say, NASA, if you're watching, this is your next day pod. Pay attention.
This target already got an A-pod. Like, where is it? This image got A-pod. Yeah. Here you go. But yeah, my goal is to reveal this super faint stuff right here, but right now I'm at 22 hours and it's barely showing up. I don't know, I have to get at least 5 times more data, I think, if that's even enough. This is gonna be super hard.
So Sophie, I have a question. When you take an image, and this is what some people do, I don't know those people. Do you look at an image of an object in awards or APODs and you're going to say, you know, I'm going to beat this? Because you're kind of doing that.
Maybe.
Is that what it is?
I'm not going to beat this one because, like, the data in here is incredible. It's from some sort of remote observatory. Yeah, with huge mirror. I'm not going to beat this. But I just want to be able to make this show up in my image, because if you look through those hold on, the bar at the top is kind of annoying, the zoom bar, but whatever. Yeah, it's nowhere to be found in all of those images. There was just one single H alpha raw stack which somebody uploaded, which showed those H alpha lines. I don't know, jets, whatever it is. Yeah.
You're still using a color camera, right?
Yeah, that's the big downside. If only I had a mono camera, it would have been so much easier.
I would like sell your OSC immediately get a mono.
Yeah, I would do the same. I would get a mono tomorrow. The amount of data you can capture with mono will stun you.
I still have to pay off my ONTC, so there's that. And I took a credit for it, so not sure if I should take another one right now. I mean, software.
Time to ask for a promotion at work, Sophie. That's how you do it.
Yeah, I'm trying, but after just one year, it's not too easy. I mean, I know I'm gonna get one, but it's not enough to buy a mono camera, unfortunately. And I honestly, yeah, sorry.
I'm still really curious what's going to happen if you get a mono camera.
But I love this OSC camera because, like, I don't have to deal with any filters, and if I shoot an image and there's clouds rolling in and it's something bright, at least, I mean, now I'm not doing this anymore, so I guess those times are over, but I really enjoyed having the flexibility of just going out, shooting my image and having my data, and there's...
But you do have a filter wheel, right?
I don't have it yet. I have a filter drawer though, so, but it's the TS filter drawer. It's really thin, so I need a really thin filter wheel. I haven't found one in the TS shop, but I think the QHY filter wheel would be thin enough to fit there.
No, the ZW is the thinnest, the 20 millimeters.
Is it? Yeah, I need 18 millimeters. That's the point.
For the filter drawer? Oh,
yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah, because I have the rotator in front of it, and that's pretty thick. Or I have to get a different rotator, but I don't think there's any...
If you want to keep the rotator. The thing is, Sophie, there's tricks with mono cameras where you can... With mono, you don't actually have to collect too much RGB data because there's no actual detail in there. You mostly collect luminance and then you can bin RGB. So actually, no astrophotographer that's gone to mono has decided to go back unless you really want to capture certain objects. mono is kind of king in that. So good luck. Let's see what you do.
I see. If I actually manage to sell it, I could maybe afford it. But I also want another scope, so there's that.
That's we are always struggling with these thoughts. Everyone.
Yeah, like I was thinking about building an observatory, so I don't have to get up every night at like 1 a.m. and go back to sleep at 4 a.m. or whatever. I could build one, but I could also buy a mono camera, or I could buy a new scope. So what am I going to do now? Like, I'm going to get more data when I build an observatory, because I guess this way I use like every hour which is available with the weather station and stuff. Or I get a mono camera, which will also get me more data because it's mono. Or I get another scope.
Get a mono and a telegizmo, Sophie. The telegizmo can be your temporary observatory. It works for me. You don't have to buy a dome.
I mean, rolling the scope in and out is fine, I guess. So I don't necessarily need an observatory, but it would be pretty cool, not gonna lie. But yeah.
Get TS to lend you a mono camera and build the observatory. I definitely recommend the observatory. It just completely changes your life. You don't need to worry about so many things.
Yes, agree. That's absolutely right. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so my plan was to ask for a scope, but I don't know. I change my mind every week.
So Sophie, I think the issue with the scope is with any new gear, you have to learn it. You've learned your 8-inch so well, you can pull incredible images. Every time you get a new equipment, new piece of equipment, even the best, you'll have to learn it. You'll have to find its quirks. And you won't get to imaging at the quality that you're doing as fast as you are here, especially if it's a reflector and it needs collimation. So
yeah, I would also get the camera from TS.
Okay, damn it.
And you already have the best scope that TS offers. So what you going to do?
I'd like to have a bigger mirror.
for
lucky imaging and observing.
The problem, sorry to interrupt you, the problem with a bigger mirror is that you'll actually lose some of the resolution due to seeing. So I think there's almost like a bell curve, and you get to the top. I think 10 or 12 inches is maybe the max. And then you're actually going to see soft images because you don't have the seeing for it. Usually you need Bortle. That's why they put it on top of mountains, big mirrors.
Yeah.
It's hard to image with those big scopes.
Yeah, but my plan is to do lucky imaging with it, because I'm part of the big amateur telescope from Astrofisket, and we do a lot of lucky imaging there. But so far, I was only able to contribute long exposure data for the background. But those guys who do lucky imaging, they can get so amazing images, like things nobody else can get. And I mean, okay, I need a new hard drive if I do this. It sounds really interesting. And if I have such a big scope, I could also go to star parties and actually start to do some visual stuff. I mean, okay, I'm not too much into visual yet, but it sounds interesting. I have it because why not? And I shot the Saturn yesterday, and I don't know, I really like planetary as well. So that would offer, here we are. Would be a lot better for planets than my 8-inch. Yeah.
I think Cassegrains are the kings of planetary, without a doubt. They're not really good at deep space, but at planetary, nobody beats them.
Yeah, I was thinking about Adopsonian and get it on one of those tracking platforms, maybe. And to just have it outside too. Like when I'm imaging with my main rig, I could like play around with it, do some lucky imaging, or observe something, or actually get more people into astronomy, because like every time I talk to family members or friends about astrophotography, they're like, "Oh, nice image, but can you look through your scope?" And I'm like, "Yes, I can, but why would I? It looks horrible compared to my image." Especially from my Bortle 5 to 4 backyard. it's not that great visually. I mean, I've looked at the Orion Nebula, and it was pretty good actually, but like nothing compared to what people see on those images. And if I show it to my friends through my scope, they're like, doesn't look amazing. And then we never talk about astronomy again. So.
But you also have to really go out under dark skies to like see details visually.
Yeah. So with the big Dobsonian, I could do that, and then I could also take my small rig because that image you can see here's my Star Adventurer setup still with the Rookie 135. And it's just waiting here. I went to do some landscape astrophotography too, but I don't know. I don't want to drive into the mountains to a dark spot all on my own with just my camera, while this one is sitting at home. Yeah.
Well, that's why you need the observatory.
Exactly, because then everything is automated and I can do whatever I want in the meantime.
I wouldn't really say automated because I would say my setup is completely automated, and that means it requires my attention all the time just because it doesn't work. I was at a star party or summer camp for young adults, I would say. It's focused on astronomy, and I drove my whole setup there. And just because I assembled it, and just because it moved like 100 kilometers, it stopped working, everything. And I had to reinstall all ASCOM platform, PhD, because it just stopped working without it being connected to internet. So there was no update, anything. I just moved it 100 kilometers and it stopped working.
Software engineering code, never touch a running system.
Never.
That's
never.
what Sophie would say. She would rewrite all the ASCOM platforms. I was going to propose you look at Astro Systems for Dobsonians. There's a couple of companies who make really good Dobsonians. They're like 14 and 17 inches. I've seen through a 17-inch in a portal to sky. It is mind-blowing, but it's also huge and hard to carry.
Yeah, I've had a look at the Taurus Dobsonians. Do you know those? Those are from Poland, not too far away from here, and they're building pretty decent Dobsonian telescopes too with certified mirrors. So those look kind of interesting.
Okay, I would say 45 minutes, perfect timing. If you agree, Sophie, then I would take the screen back.
Yeah, sure.
So thank you very much for these fantastic impressions. That was really stunning. So, guys, I hope you have prepared your best shots to compete a little bit.
Nope.
Nope. But we are also inviting viewers to share their images, so they can send them by mail to me. And two people did this, and I will show these images before we start our little round here. And I just have to share my screen. So you should now see nothing.
Yeah, we see Zoom being barred.
Yeah, that's okay. So let me just bring up these things here. I printed out the mail from the guys, so I will just read this through that you get an idea. I thought I printed it, but not really. Unbelievable. Just a moment. So here we have images from the Jack Deacon or Deacon, I'm not sure exactly. And this is obviously Omega Centauri, LRGB image, HDR luminance, 10, 150, 300 second sub exposures, sorry, and total integration time of 2 hours 56 minutes. Yeah, that is already really stunning, but he's also using a pretty decent telescope. This is done with a Takahashi FSQ 106. So yeah, no discussion about that point. That's a fantastic thing. The second one is the Sculptor Galaxy LRGB H alpha. 6 hours 20 minutes integration time. I assume that's the same. Yeah, of course, the same.
I think, is it the same scope?
Yeah,
the scope is pretty small, right? Okay, nice.
Yeah, that's really interesting, but it is the same.
No, that's not the same scope. There's
Sorry?
Diffraction spikes from a newt or something.
Yeah, I think that's more of a 10-inch or something. No, actually, the FSQ has that, Robert. It has those issues with stars sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. And the deepest one comes here. So I assume he is living very south, or very south. The Statue of Liberty Nebula. SHO palette, so narrowband photo with RGB stars, and this is integrated 15 hours 7 minutes, and nice colors. I like the colors pretty much, so very decent image here.
Wow,
cool. So thank you, Jacques, for your images, really great. And the second one, I hope this is now working. Just a minute.
And just to confirm, Jack's images, are they taken from a remote telescope site? It looks like the LRGB is very good. And I'm just curious if it's taken from, like, I don't know, Chile or something.
I know what you mean. Let me just check this out. Maybe. Oh, unfortunately, he didn't mention the location where it's taken.
Where's he from? Does he say?
Sorry, no clue. But maybe if you're watching, please let us know some more details. Where is it taken? This is the most interesting question here. But I assume because, let me just show you. He's describing my imaging equipment, so that sounds like it's not remote, but it's just an assumption, so not sure. Okay, but let us quickly step forward to the next one. These images are from René Bondo Hoffmann from Denmark. He is a regular viewer, which is really cool. I really like it when you're coming back here to our show. That means we are doing something right. That's pretty cool. And this is done with the TS APO 100 quadruplet from TS. ZWO294MC camera, and this is the Lion SH2 123. Sorry, took a long time. The Lion Nebula, and this is obviously SHO. Maybe no. This is SHO and HOO combination. Interesting colors. I never saw this in green here. That's interesting. A target that I personally never captured yet.
I guess oxygen is been mapped somewhat to green, because it looks like maybe.
I think so too, yes. Just some stuff. Ask, didn't get an M16 pic? No. No M16 yet. Or did I miss something? Oh, okay. Now I know what you mean. There is another email. I have to do this live here. So this is again from Rennie. So thank you for your submission. I'm really looking forward. Share your next images also with us. Really cool to have you here. So let me close this one. And this is from Anders Langhoff. He just wrote me 30 minutes ago. This is M16 taken with what's this?
Download it. Sorry, top right. There you go. To the left of that.
No, that's not what I...
There's and then, sorry.
Now I have to get back to my browser.
Ooh, that's not bad. I like the Eagle Nebula a lot.
Yeah. This is taken with an ASI 533 MC Pro and a 150 PDS, so pretty small but nice telescope. Latitude 56 degrees, so it is all our latitudes pretty low above the horizon, but still a very decent image and nice stars here. Maybe can you give us some numbers, how long it's exposed? Sorry. It's obviously an HOO combination, but maybe some details, but pretty nice. So thank you for your submissions. Yes, exactly, nice work. Okay, still I just want to remember there are not many viewers currently, but I will just remember our giveaway. Please use the hashtag giveaway in the comments so you may be selected. There's also no limitation, so if you had one in the past, there's no limitation on winning again, so no problem with that. Okay, then I would suggest, what do you think? Would we start our talk through, everyone?
You're sharing your screen, Torsten. Hit us with something. Come on. We don't have to reshare. Or not.
Okay. I can start. Sure.
No
pressure. Sophie plays the butt at all.
Everyone's scared.
I'm a little scared, actually.
Sorry, now I missed something. I had over the last months I had opportunity to use a pretty new Apo telescope, which you see here in the back, 102mm CF Apo, and most of the images I took are taken with the CF Apo. There are only two with the Ritchie-Chrétien. Maybe we start with the Ritchie-Chrétien just quickly. I'm still not sure if I show this. Normally I wouldn't show this because it's not really done yet. That's the coma cluster, but it was not so deep integration, and it's also not color corrected, but I like galaxies, as you may know, and I have the telescope for it and also galaxy clusters. This is an object which deserves many hours of exposure. So this one here is approximately 3 hours. So not enough, but I still like it. If you integrate this really deep, thousands of galaxies popping up here in the background, that's a really cool thing. And that's one that I can show, also with the Ritchie-Chrétien. So this, just to mention again, this is my normal telescope that I'm using, a 12-inch Ritchie-Chrétien from GSO here in my observatory in the backyard. Just to capture galaxies, but maybe sometimes also nebulas. And as you may remember, Sophie showed this object. This is her long time project, and I just gave it a try 2 weeks ago. Also with an OSC camera and broadband filters, so not a real deep approach. but this is a really beautiful object because you have this combination of emission and reflection here, and also huge dark structures that are not popping up with 5 hours here. That's a 5-hour exposure, so way too less data for these faint details. But anyway, I think pretty nice object in the sky. And as Sophie mentioned, that is circumpolar in Cepheus, so you can image that for hours. Okay, now some shots from the CF Apo. Oh, yeah. I will come back to this. I'm always taking 5-minute exposures on the RC with my OSC camera. So that's just some default value I'm using. I'm not playing around, except there is some HDR stuff involved where I have to combine different exposures. But for these faint stuff, 5 minutes and then I'm good. Because it's with the reducer, I'm working at f5.6, so this is rather slow. There, 5 minutes are no problem. And okay, this is not the first image with the CF Apo, but
this is cool.
Yeah, one of these. And I always like to use a full frame camera. I just like full frame cameras, and so I tried a lot to bring a full frame camera working on the telescope. And together with the proper flattener, this is working. It is a bit difficult. It was difficult to find the proper distance, but then you can reveal, for example, the Cocoon Nebula is a perfect example for that field of view, because then it's possible to integrate these dark nebula here. That's super cool, and we can still zoom in on the cocoon itself. This camera provides a bit of undersampling. Yeah, that's undersampling, but anyway, I like that.
The stars are beautiful, and I think the field of view is amazing, I swear.
And this is only very basic processing. So a bit of star reduction could be done, because it's in the Milky Way. That's always overwhelming amount of stars in that field. This is, I have to read it, sorry. This is a pretty faint LBN object in constellation Lacerta, LBN 437. I just like it. When integrating this object for a long time, or with narrowband filters, a huge H-alpha filament is popping up here, which goes behind this or through it, which also looks pretty nice. But as mentioned, I only have this L Pro broadband filter for my camera, so it would take just too long to get this revealed. So I stopped.
Have you reused the stars on this image?
No star reduction. That's basically, I would not say out of camera, of course not, but no deeper processing than stretching the levels.
And I don't think you did any kind of SCNR or anything. It looks like the green is it's RGGP. Okay,
there
nice.
Could be done something more. But the time, when I see the stacked image, I think, it's okay. Keep it.
I mean, it's pretty good, actually.
Yeah. And so I tested around a bit. This was also a test shot. Yeah, here the corners here, I played around with the distance to the flattener, so I dislike the corners here.
Did you get it to work correctly now?
Yes. With the flattener, it is pretty hard, but let's say if I crop it to something like here, then I'm good.
Are you using the original corrector or something else? No.
I tried many. I used the dedicated flattener, the TS Flat 3, which is the desired flattener for that and the bigger telescopes. and I also use the TSCF Red 102. That's the correct description. But the reducer can only do smaller sensors. I tried everything I could, and also talked about that issue. With smaller sensors, for example, I use here my pretty old one, ASI 1600 is perfect. I like it so much. That's fantastic. That's the full field of the ASI 1600 HOO combination. There's nothing to discuss, but it is a bit limited then.
Because the errors are outside of the frame, so the chip is so small that all the tilt and the miscorrection is outside. Yeah.
The correction issues are just not visible. Yes, there was no tilt issue, so that was good. No problem with that. Oh, by the way, I just want to interrupt mine. Rennie wrote in the chat because of the questions of these M16 that we had. So 5 hours in the start of August, HOO combination. Yeah, I read this correctly. From Denmark. Great. Over 3 nights. And L Extreme. Okay. Yeah, no astro darkness here in August. That's right. I also suffered from that. Okay, thank you for that reply. And yeah, last but not least, one of the SH2 112. I'm not sure if this one had a name. This was also, let's say, a test shot. So I, with this telescope for testing here, would not expose one super deep object over whatever 20 hours or so. I just want to check out multiple things that I can do with the telescope, check out multiple settings. That is why these integrations are not that deep as you may expect it. Oh, and here, this is pretty interesting. This was the first light that I did with the CF Apo. Unfortunately, well, this is also the ASI 2400, the full frame camera, but I think it's a bit cropped, so I don't have the exposure data here. Here in the center, you see that star field, that bit brighter region here. This is a dwarf galaxy, which is pretty near to the Milky Way. This is UGC 10822. I don't have the data here, but that's also written down on Wikipedia. It's a pretty interesting object. It appears super large. I think it's something around 15 arc minutes, but it's also super faint. This was exposed, I think, something around 3 hours, and it then reveals a bit of the individual stars. It's so near that it can be resolved into individual stars.
Just quick question here, Torsten. Are those 1 pixel stars? Is the Apple that good that it can resolve almost like, yeah, look at that. That's actually really.
I know what you mean. This one is extremely reduced in size, so normally it would not be 1 pixel. Sorry, yeah, this is. Don't know why this is the origin.
That would have been mind blowing if it can resolve that much.
But in the galaxy, yes, there are some stars really resolved, because it's, I don't know exactly 1 or maybe 2 million light years away, so really near. No, I'm not sure. Don't count on that. Okay, so now this was pretty long. In the beginning I mentioned to not exceed some time limits. Okay, that was enough from me. So now I will send back the CF Apo, and now getting back to the RC when the nights are longer and darker, to get back to some galaxies. Okay, I would suggest, let me just stop the sharing. I would suggest we go from one to another. Jan is the first one in my list. Jan,
Okay, I'll be quite quick because I haven't had much time during the summer. Plus, as I said, I attended the summer camp, and I was not borrowing. I was giving them some of my equipment for the kids to work on, so I couldn't shoot anyway. So I'll start sharing my screen here. And do you guys see the pics inside?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So I'll start during May. I thought I should give it a go with the NGC 7000 in North America, because it's been a couple of years since I shot it, and this is the shot I had, and it's quite famous object, and I had only this, and it was quite ugly. So I finished it a few days ago, and it's an SHO Hubble palette, and it's about 20 hours. But as I said, I don't have much time for imaging, so it's been imaged over almost 3 months. And I also have a
This is taken with your 130 TS.
Yes, and SI 1600.
So you have the 130 photo line TS.
Yes, the triplet. And I love it. I love the telescope, and I really like the starless version, because you then focus more on the smaller stuff that's here, like all the small blobs of the dust and gas. So I made a couple of versions, but I think I finally gave the North America Nebula justice. Then I shot just wide field with Samyang 135 and my Canon 6D, just a wide field of the Milky Way, the M16 Omega Nebula, and it was just a quick shot during 2 short nights. I really don't like summer, because the nights are so short. It's like almost pointless to shoot anything, because before you set up, it's already sunrise. So it's really hard. Also, now, like 2 weeks ago, during my stay at the astronomy camp, I was showing people the sun in HA using my quark, and I saw the biggest prominence so far. So this is it. Unfortunately, I have also one more image where I don't have a full disk, because I don't fit the whole sun into the field of view of my camera, and every time I attempt to do a full disk, I get either clouds or the scene gets so bad that I don't finish it. So I need 6 frames for the whole disk, and I try to do like maybe 2000 frames using my SI 1600. And I'm shooting 16-bit, so I have like 15 frames per second. So it's really difficult. It takes me like 1 hour to shoot it all.
This is really beautiful, though, Jan. I mean, with this gear that you're imaging with the telescope and the quark, I think you're really pushing the limits of what you can do with that. A lot of people don't know how to use the quark. I think you're doing great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the quark is quite pricey, so I did read a lot before I bought it. But thank you. You should be a motivational speaker. Like, you always brighten my day with those comments. Also, this is another attempt of whole disk, and these are some filaments. And I saw your filaments. You took on like 2 days ago, right? And I wanted to ask you, how do you make them so smooth? Because you have such an excellent data. Okay, here's a Saturn, but it was just for fun, and I don't really have a setup for planets.
What did you shoot Saturn with? Hang on, don't
with
skip
my
beautiful images.
With my Mac stuff. It's 5-inch, I believe. It's just a small Celestron Nexstar. I bought it like a long time ago when I was starting astrophotography, and I somehow thought that I would shoot nebulae with f12 telescope, so it was quite a big mistake, but I do like it for the planets and for the moon. it's really small, so I can do some balcony stuff. Because I don't shoot that much, also because I shoot only during the night that are whole clear, because I have to drive like 45 minutes to my cottage to shoot, so it's not worth it for me to travel.
So Jan, your Matsutov has the same aperture as the TS. So in data collection, it's slower. For planets, it does the same as the refractor. So I think you've done great. Nice work.
Oh, thank you. And right now I'm working on Wolf-Rayet 134, and it's in Cygnus, and it's not that famous object, I would say. And this is just the stack data, and it's really dim oxygen nebula. And I don't have much data, and I know I'll be needing like 30 or 40 hours. Maybe now since we all saw what Sophie has for photos, I will need maybe 100 hours. But just after a few nights, this is, I believe, 2 nights of oxygen and 1 night of HA, when I remove the stars and just stretch it a little, you can see the whole like eye-ish structure. So that's why I want to really bring it out, but you need like crazy times for that. So I'll probably be spending my time on this object for the foreseeable future.
That's really difficult target, but wonderful when the structures come up.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all from me. Like I said, it would be quick.
Thank you very much. Still a great collection. Really like it. Iwan, would you share something?
If you insist, I will share. Just give me one moment. Let me.
At least your son. Oh, by the way, Jan, we have to talk again about your quark, because I was also chatting with the guys about solar imaging technology that I should have, and quark was in the list.
I've done a lot of research.
Yeah, also this puppy is great. That's
okay.
what I use with quark.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, can you guys see my screen? Hang on, let me hide this and let me disable my thing. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Cool. Let me start with DSO, and then I'll get into solar. So I have 2 scopes. The old one is the Richie Christian CRC 312 from Officina Stellare. It's an older scope. I did a mosaic of the moon using a 432 player 1 solar camera. It's a pretty good camera. This is just a mosaic of work. I was just playing with it. I want to use the C14 when the seeing actually is good. But going back to...
Iwan, just a moment. How many titles you need for that mosaic with the
just 4 for the Richie Christian, which is 1680, just 4.
Yeah.
So this is a 2x2.
Is the camera so big? That's the sensor of the camera?
The player 1 Solar Max is almost an inch.
Okay. Then
it's almost APS-C. It is almost twice as big as the one, and then this one, the 174.
Sure. Okay.
So yeah, I shoot solar with it, and I was gonna try it. It's 110 frames per second. It's very fast, and it okay. I think I can do much better with the 14-inch aperture and longer focal length. Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm working on this, the lagoon. It is actually kind of hard for me to image this because my neighbor's AC. Because at my focal length and the position in the sky, every time he turns his air conditioning, the stars go to 6, 7 full width f max, and it's almost, the details are not there. This is only 5 hours of SHO data that I collected when it was cooler, so he didn't have his AC on. And I'm still working on it. I only have maybe 3 hours a night to collect data on the lagoon. 600 second exposures, I think.
That
so
good.
Yeah, I was trying to image it last night, and my guiding was crazy. Had nothing to do with the mount, had nothing to do with the scope, just because the stars were, the object was so low, the stars were just going around like crazy. And then the image I finished with my Richie Kretian is the eagle. I think the people at TS Optics have seen it. Everybody's seen it in our group chat. And this was about 25 hours with the QHY 600, that Officina Stellare CRC, and yeah, 900 seconds exposures. Let me see if I can zoom in for you guys. Can I? No. It does. For some reason, it doesn't want to zoom in. But yeah, this was, I spent a lot of time on the subject, maybe about 2 weeks, because it's low on the horizon. It goes away within 4 hours. And I really wanted to capture some detail in the oxygen and the hydrogen alpha. I think 900 seconds exposures, yeah. Cool. I shall move on to my second telescope, which has been killing me. So I have an astrograph, as they call it, a dream scope, Officina Stellare F3, 200 millimeter aperture, and it is amazing if you can get it collimated and tilt free. It took my friend over like 7 hours to recollimate it, and it took me about 4 to remove tilt. But when the scope is properly aligned and tilt free, it can produce something like this elephant trunk nebula in 5 hours. This is only 5 hours of total data. And I want to get back to what you were talking about, Torsten, with full frame cameras. I think there's a misconception that people have that if you use a small chip and, you know, a telescope, you get more resolution. You actually lose resolution. So in order to capture this full object with a smaller chip, you'd have to mosaic it. A full frame camera will capture it. It doesn't make a difference at the end. So this is using a full frame chip.
It's all about pixel size.
Say that again, Robert?
It's all about pixel size.
Yeah, my pixel size is about 1.24, and then with deconvolution, it actually looks really good. Because it's an 8-inch, the aperture matters more than the focal length. So this was, I'm still working on this image. Then I did a little bit of
almost, you were too fast, but I wanted to say that I love the processing. It almost looks 3D, like the elephant trunk structure looks like it's much more closer to us than the oxygen background.
Right.
In the processing, not much has happened, Jan, to be honest. So what I did do is, and you can kind of start seeing the limitations of the resolution as I zoom in, but I try to pull in the faint dust and also use a bit of texture. And not much has gone into this image because I haven't really processed it too much. A little bit of star reduction, noise reduction, and just I'm trying to enhance these filaments here. I'm excited to see. I had one done with the FSQ 106, but the Officina Stellare makes that telescope look like a plastic toy, just because it's twice in aperture. So the 200 millimeter light gathering capabilities are what really got me. Then I'm playing with the Heart Nebula. This isn't a really bad part of the sky for me. It's above a busy highway, and it's kind of hard to get really flat field. As you can see, it has some corners. The actual sky glow can affect narrowband. It's that bad. But
now you can stop complaining. Really. That's an epic shot.
I've mosaicked this like this with my Officina Stellare, where I spent Sophie amount of hours. I believe it was 70 hours, I think, in that time. But you know, I feel like this nebula is really beautiful. The HA in it is always a pleasure to image. And lastly, again, if my neighbor stops using the AC, I can finish this. This is the Laguna and Trifid using the Hondas. This is actually 2 hours of data. That's all. I literally captured 40 minutes last night for this call so that I can show some sulfur. But for the amount of data that I have, what I wanted to show is what aperture can do. So although the scope is 600 millimeters, because it's 8 inches, it actually has quite good resolution in the Trifid, which is kind of a really small object. So I'm looking forward to finishing this if I can. Again, I only have 2 or 3 hours a night. As you can see, there's vignetting and other stuff here, but I like the amount of gas that's there. Cool. So now let's get to where you guys wanted to go, to solar. So I've been playing around a little bit with the solar scope I have. So this is actually using a Coronado 19 millimeter single stack. If you want to learn solar, learn what angstrom is. It will blow your mind and actually make you understand what you need. So a lot of the scopes that come single stacked, when you only have one single eidolon, are around 0.7 angstrom. To get these filaments in high detail, you really need under 0.5 angstrom, which is what a double stack Lunt or Coronado or even some quarks do. So this is single stack, and you can see that the detail is actually worse than what Jan had, because he had probably better seeing or has tuned the quark better than I tuned my Coronado. But then I did something really weird. There was no real information about this. I actually bought a quark and put it on the back of the Coronado. Both companies said that they discouraged this. They literally told me that they cannot tell me if it works or not. I removed the blocking filter off the Coronado, and I threw in a Gemini quark, the one with the 2 eidolons. And I spent maybe 2 days trying to understand what the perfect little knob location is from the angstrom tuning, and the front of the objective also needed to be tilted and tuned to a point where you can actually see these filaments. They look like fuzzy white lines, right? It looks like the sun is furry, which it probably is with storms. After that, I started using the 432 chip, which is again the Player 1 100,000 well depth chip. It is really good, but it's still 9 microns, so it was too much for my scope. It was just highly undersampled, and the details were not sharp enough. So then I started thinking, well, I did a few more. I don't really shoot the sun like others, where they bump up the gain and see the prominences. I'm not really interested in the prominences as much. They're beautiful, but I want to focus on the surface detail. That's what I like on the sun. The prominences are just a bonus. I did shoot the one you had, Jan, but it wasn't that good, so I didn't want to show it. I do have the one you were showing, the massive one. But then after more tweaking, what I found out is that the 174 ZWO, which is here, chip is actually the best one to use. And the image that you're seeing, I took 2 hours ago. This morning, I had really good seeing for about 15 minutes. I took 10,000 frames. I used about 30%, so 3,000 odd frames, and then I processed it a little bit with a bunch of tools. So I think with solar, like deep space, it's all about processing. You need to know the tools, and yeah, I think this turned out really well. The filament detail is really nice and smooth, but it's a combination of tuning the instruments and specifically seeing. You're seeing, I'll show you an image that seeing was pretty poor, and you can tell for yourselves that there's no detail because of the seeing. And then I also took this filament image. Again, the seeing wasn't the best. You can see the filaments pretty well. You can see the surface the storms that are happening, but again, it's fuzzy because the seeing was pretty bad. I think this one was 2 days ago. Again, the seeing was not the best. The filaments were there, the data was there, but the seeing just didn't want to cooperate. Yeah, that's my imaging. That's my images that I took. This one this morning, I didn't actually post it anywhere. I literally finished it maybe an hour, 20 minutes before our call. So if you want to get into solar, accept that you're a slave to your seeing, and then everything else will be fine. That's it from me, guys.
By the way, do you shoot in color or mono?
Mono, there's no color. So I look through my telescope. You should never look through your telescope without a filter. You'll get blind at the sun. I look through my Coronado with the special eyepieces and everything, and it's just red. I had a color camera. Mono was what I was told I have a bunch of friends that I met online. Our community is great. I have a friend who's got second prize at the Royal Astronomy Solar Imaging. His name is Gabriel. He gave me a lot of tips on how to do this and spent an hour with me trying to show me how to look at the sun. When you image, it's actually better to do inverse because you see more details than you would when it's not inverted. So if you invert the image and sharp cap, it's by the little histogram there, you'll see a lot better objects like this because they'll be darker, and it gives you a better understanding how to image. But it's a mono camera, Jan, as you can see.
And shooting with a color camera, in my experience, doesn't work at all because the camera just can't handle, like the bare matrix and stuff. The camera can't handle that.
Just super red, yeah.
Yeah, the red is just overexposed.
Actually,
even if you expose it right in the red channel and debay it afterwards, it doesn't work. There are artifacts everywhere, even on the 174.
Yeah,
you are essentially thinning. That's why. Sorry, please go on. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I tried with my Player One camera, and it's doable, but you have to extract the red channel and process it as mono, then again color it after. So it's like adding a lot more steps just to get the same image, like with mono.
And I think it's about sensitivity and frame rate. You want to get them more frames the fastest because the sun changes and the scene changes. And lastly, a color camera, basically, the bare matrix acts like a binning mechanism. So it bins your data, and you're only taking, if I'm correct, one single pixel, the one in the red. Green one is thrown out, and you end up with
you're like
pretty bad.
You have 25% of red data, so it's divided by 4 basically.
So this goes back to mono, Sophie. You see, mono has 100% coverage. RGB, somewhat. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Great.
no joke. Those are one of the best solar surface images I've ever seen. Like, they look so 3D. I don't know. I'm amazed.
It's all AI. I made it in my backyard. I have a computer. It's all AI generated.
Yeah.
I made it myself. I'm good at Photoshop. Yeah, that's what it is. I made it with a...
Thank you, Jan. Peter, would you share something?
Sure. Let me see what I can do.
And can you please bring the dog back?
The dog. No, the dog wanted to go out.
Okay, he was there. Okay.
Okay. Can you see the images?
Not yet. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Now it's there.
All right. So, as I said before we got started, the weather's been pretty lousy the last few months. We're in the middle of winter, but at least the nights are long. You know, when we do get clear nights, you get to image 7-8 hours at a time, which is good. So this is something I just finished recently. This is taken with the 94 EDPH. It's the Lobster Nebula and the Cat Paw Nebula, which you can fit in with the APS-C 2600 size sensor, which is quite nice with that telescope. And this was about 30 hours of data, so about 10 hours per narrowband channel. So this was an SHO image, but I kind of tweaked the combinations a bit. So it's not a classic SHO, but I wanted to experiment a little bit with different combinations.
So 30 hours you had good weather.
Well, look, good in Cape Town is when you've got, two clear nights a week. Bad
my
is
God.
maybe one clear night a week. So it's anyway. So this was narrowband image recently taken. Then this one I've sort of taken over a number of months. I think I showed a previous version of this in HOO. So this is the SHO version.
Fantastic.
Again, it's about 30 hours with the 94 EDPH. it's of course the famous fighting dragon Samara, and here we've got this beautiful sort of part planetary, part emission nebula with this wonderful shell around it, which I actually captured with the Edge HD. I'll show you an image of that a little bit later. So these are the sort of two main sort of big narrowband projects I've done. I've yet to get to 100 hours. I think 30 hours or 35, 40 hours is about the longest I've gone. So I really need to up my game a little bit and try for these sort of very long, sort of big projects.
Hey, Peter, I did have a question. I wanted to punch the culture in the face that's out there. You have a RASA, right? You have the F2 amazingly fast RASA.
The RASA is a train smash. It's there's something wrong with the position of the mirror.
Okay.
So it's a complete. I can't afford to send it back to Celestron. So it's basically sitting in the study. It needs to be fixed. I've had a go at it. The mirror is still not in the right place. So no, it's not been used for quite some time.
I was just gonna ask why not use that perfect F2 telescope versus a refractor, which is slower, but any reflector comes with
that 4.4, so it's not too bad. That's not too shabby for a refractor. But yeah, the F2 would be great. But right now, it's just embarrassing. It's not that I can't use it, but I can't use it with bigger sensors. I can use it with the 533 with that sort of small sensor. But if I go anything bigger, if I go to a 1600 or a 2600 or APS-C size sensor, you can forget it. I'm basically then cropping back down to the 533 size.
So you're losing a lot of resolution by doing that and a lot of imaging.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you.
So again, so this is another image taken with the 94 millimeter. So this is with the color camera, 2600 NC. It's the Banana Nebula. It's in the Carina area of the sky, southern sky. This was about 14 hours, I think. So really sort of a bit underbaked. I should probably switch to the mono camera and have another go at this at some point and try and bring some more of the details of the nebulosity out. But it's a nice object, and I wanted to do a sort of couple of nights on it and see what I could get with the color camera. So this was the color camera and the Extreme filter. So here is this is the Dragon's Egg. So this was taken with the Edge HD 800, the 8-inch telescope. So that's just the HOO version. I haven't done an SHOO version with that telescope, but I like the way the shell came out with this.
How many hours do you have for this?
So I think this was 26 hours.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful because normally you always see this in combination with the dragons, which is good, but it's also definitely an object worth shooting alone.
Oh, definitely,
Fantastic.
definitely. And if I had something with a bit more aperture and focal length, then it really would be awesome.
Peter, is this you comparing Hubble, which is ARA, with the James Webb Telescope in here?
I'll show you that. I'll show you that in a moment. I had some fun.
Oh, James Webb is in trouble.
So this is another one taken with the Edge HD 800. So this is part of the Prawn Nebula. This is the famous sort of dark band, so nebulous band in that nebula. So this is SHO. I think I'd have to look back. I think this was let's see how many hours. This was 15 hours of data. so 5 hours per channel. Then I sold the 8-inch. So I sold the 8-inch. I got a good deal for it, and decided to upgrade to the slightly bigger HHG, the 9.25. The reason being is that the problem with the 8-inch is that you don't have enough back focus to accommodate both a the filter wheel, the focuser, and an off-axis guider. So this is now the upgraded scope.
And you have a reducer on there as well, right? The 0.7, if I see this correctly.
Sorry?
You have a reducer on there as well, Peter, right?
I've got the reducer on here as well. Yeah, yes. But the thing with the 9.25 and bigger scopes, the back focus is the same whether you're at f10 or f7. With the 8-inch, you've only got 125 millimeters, sorry, 105 millimeters at f7, so you can't fit anything, on the back of it. You can't get, your off-axis guider and your focuser and filter wheel in 105 mil. So, but anyway, I got a good deal for the 8-inch, upgraded to the 9.25, and this was the first light with that telescope. So this is the what's it? Corona Australis nebula. So this was taken a couple of weeks ago. I think it's about 10 hours worth of data, as far as I remember. RGB, LRGB, so a bit of color and mostly luminance data.
I'm doing the color, Peter, or do you let the color one by one?
With this one, I've been, well, it's with the 294. It's I'm binning 2 by 2 for both color, and the pixel size is 4.63 microns, so it's a really quite a big pixel. So, but yeah, no, I haven't been 2 by 2. I should try binning the color and then just focusing on the details of the luminance. But you're right, you said earlier that, obviously, if you just focus on the luminance of the details and just have a bit of integration time for the color, that's probably all you need. I'm doing a wider field version of this, so this is the same region. I haven't got very far. So this is about 5 hours worth of luminance data. This is captured with the ASCO 300 f5. So I'm quite excited by this, but there's a lot of nice dust in this image. Then you've got that sort of the Corona Australis, the sort of blue nebulosity I just showed close up. So this should turn out quite a nice image if I get some decent weather in the coming weeks. Then what else? This is another nebula. Which one is it now? This is also in the Eta Carina region. It's not a well-known, no, actually not Eta Carina region. It's close to the Eagle Nebula, actually. This is NGC 6604. And this was captured about an hour and a half from Cape Town. There's this beautiful little lodge, about an hour, actually an hour and a quarter from Cape Town, very close. Sort of Bortle Three Skies, and you've got a hot tub. So this is a great location just to nip away for a weekend with a small telescope, and you can kind of lie in the hot tub next to your telescope while you're imaging. So it's
that's really leisure imaging, being in the hot tub, just pressing a button or watching your live stack. That's really fun.
Yeah. And this is a sort of wide field shot, again taken close, from a darker site near Cape Town with the Samyon 135 on the Star Tracker mount. I also love this mount. It's such a great little portable rig. Just throw it in the back of the car, take it out, and shoot some nice images. And then also with the ASCO 300, this is the Dark Wolf Nebula, the Dark Wolf Nebula. And again, this is the Prawn Nebula nearby. So this is a wide field shot take. But this is with the Alex Stream filter and the 2600 MC Pro camera with that telescope. And then, yeah, going back to, so this is having some fun with the James Webb telescope, comparing what I captured, that sort of portion of the Carina Nebula, captured with the 94 millimeter scope, and then sort of blowing it up and then comparing it to the corresponding James Webb.
Very close.
Why are you showing two same pictures?
So yours is the lower one.
Yeah. James Webb just copied his electrical wires around the house, which creates those the diffraction pattern.
No, honestly, I like these comparisons. That's pretty cool.
And then just to tempt Sophie into building an observatory, so this is the setup at home. Really worthwhile putting the effort into putting something up. And I've done a few upgrades. So this is a little cloud watcher I have now, so I can go to sleep and not worry too much about the weather. As you can see, it's raining here, and you get a nice little graph showing the clear sky and cloudy overcast, and you can set things accordingly to shut things down if the weather gets nasty. So that's just one further thing. So really cool project which I've got into recently. So this is a site in the Cederberg, about 3 hours from Cape Town. It's the Cederberg Observatory. It needs some TLC. As you can see, it's a bit kind of run down, but over the coming year or two, we're going to be doing some significant upgrades to the site. This, of course, is a Bortle 1 site. As I said, 3 hours from Cape Town. It's sitting here in the Cederberg Mountains, in this sort of beautiful wilderness area. So it's going to be quite exciting. We're going to be putting up stands for roll-up roof, remote observatories. We're going to be upgrading the outreach activities at that site. So lots of exciting things to report on in future live streams. Okay, that's me.
Great. That observatory is indeed really cool. I hope that everything works well there. Okay, Robert, do you have something, or do you have to go to the scope right now?
Oh,
or is it already working?
Onto it. I just checked my polar alignment because I was imaging like not very well polar aligned for the last 2 weeks, and it kind of worked pretty okay. I was like guiding below 1.0 RMS and stuff, and I just aligned it like with my eye and stuff, and thought, oh, that's kind of good. And I'm actually 4 arc minutes close. That's not too bad.
Okay, that's really
when you
really
buy
close.
a pole master, when you got Robert, you just call him over, look at the sky, and tell me if it's good.
I don't need a
Pole master.
Wait a second. Okay.
Try and do that in the southern hemisphere. You don't have Polaris.
Yeah, that's true.
Can't really eyeball polar align down here.
When I was in Cape Town last year, I needed to figure it out like for the first time ever to polar align in the southern skies, and it took me basically the whole night. It took me 4 hours to figure out polar alignment. It was just insane because I didn't have a feeling for scale of the stars and everything, and I just used the app and tried to figure out where everything was. And also, light pollution is a big deal in Cape Town, so that was fun. Okay, I'll just share my screen now. Okay, let's try this.
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, can you see this?
Yeah.
Very nice. So, I think I should first start off with my mount. I did some upgrades. I got myself a Losmendi G11 as a new mount.
Moment, Robert. We can't see it.
Oh,
maybe on a different screen or something.
Oh yeah.
No,
wait
just
a
open
second.
the photos. Yeah, we're seeing your Explorer. We're not seeing the
Yeah.
open photos.
I'll just do that. Should work now.
That's better. Yes.
All right. Yeah, so I upgraded to G11, and two weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and I haven't really tested it too much. I shot like 4 or 5 hours with it, and it's been great so far. But I'm not even polar-aligned yet, so
What's that amazing piece of tech next to the pier? That rock. What is that rock?
Oh, that rock is for my cover, to like have something that it's not flying away.
Okay, sorry. I wanted to see what that high-tech piece of gear.
Yeah, it's just a high-tech stone. It's something very special. You can probably buy it at TS. Okay, let's just check the next one. I can't go over there. Oh, and I have a 3D printer now, and I do some 3D printing, and I just printed the adapter for my pier to make the Losmandy fit to my EQ5 pier, which is pretty cool. So I don't have.
Did you use any kind of special PLA or because I know it needs...
I just used regular PLA for now, but I want to use some other kind of plastic. I'm not sure what. I need something that's like more prone to temperature changes and stuff.
Go with PETG or something like that, or ABS. If you
God.
If you can print with high temperatures.
My printer can do ABS. We try that.
But PETG is awesome. I printed my tilt
guys,
adapter
can you
for
still
the
hear
sun.
me?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, my Zoom is crashing right now. I have to restart it. I'm really sorry. Just a minute, please. Right back.
Yeah, we'll talk about the 3D printer. Yeah.
We talk about the 3D.
I think. Let's see if he.
Adapter, and it's getting all the heat from the sun, and it holds perfectly. So I would say it holds quite well in the high temperatures.
Okay, that's pretty cool to hear, because like PLA is very bad at high temperatures.
Yeah, I printed a phone holder to my car from PLA, and during this summer it just melted. So that's why I switched to PETG. It's more painful to tune out the settings on the printer for PETG, but it's well worth it.
Last year I printed or I bought actually to my Bada mount, and I had it 3D printed in PLA, and it just melted during the summer because I have the cover on everything, and it's getting like 40-50 degrees under the cover, and it just melted away basically. And then I made it out of aluminum. Yeah. Back to processing. I just That's actually a cabin you can rent, and you can have your holidays there, which is pretty cool. It's in a bottle 3, I guess, and it's 1,200 meters above sea level, so not too bad for observing. And if it does it, the next image is this one. That's on a mountain road. You can go up, and you're on about 2,100 meters above sea level, and that's a bottle 2 to bottle 3. It's a very good bottle 3 sometimes, and sometimes it's a mediocre like bottle 2, depending on the weather.
Are you using a modified camera? Because the H alpha that I see there doesn't really come from a regular DSLR, right?
Yes, I have a Sony Alpha 6300 and it's modified.
Beautiful.
I didn't modify it myself though, because it's pretty like complicated, because you need to exchange the filter. It doesn't work without a filter in front of the sensor because of focus and stuff. I don't know, but it was worth it, and that's why I can make these images. And this is my first Milky Way image. Actually, I took in Germany 2 weeks ago when Yasha was at TS for his internship, and we went out for 2 nights and observed and captured some stuff. And this is just one of the images that I have already processed now, but there is coming more on my Instagram. And I have to say, it's pretty good actually. Where I'm living 25-30 kilometers away from Munich, and it's a bottle 4, and it's actually pretty amazingly dark. It's better than here in Klagenfurt where I'm right now, which is cool. So I can actually shoot stuff there too. And yeah, this is the Needle Galaxy. This is one of the first images I took with my 6-inch nude, I think back in March or April, I'm not sure. And that's about 3.5 or 4 hours, and nothing too special.
It's pretty beautiful. Don't say that. It's a galaxy and a lot of other galaxies around. This is really nice. You can even see a dimmer galaxy underneath it.
Yeah. I don't know what it's called now. I actually wanted to capture some detail in the fainter, in the edges of the galaxy there, because there is this blue glow from the stars in the galaxy. I didn't really capture that. I think I need to get 10 to 15 hours to be able to resolve that, but maybe we'll get there in autumn or something. We'll see. And this is one of the images I'm really proud of right now. This is actually data from my old TS 80mm ED with the ASI 1071, and it's about I'm not sure 8 hours or 9 hours exposure time, and it's a combination of H alpha from Allen-Hans and RGB, and I just wanted to keep it natural under quote marks.
This is the Butterfly Nebula, right?
This is Sada and this is Butterfly Nebula.
Wow.
And there is so much stuff going on in this image. It's insane. I hope that it lets me just zoom in there.
Very beautiful, Robert. Amazing, actually.
It's
That's great, yeah.
I'll try to zoom in. I don't know how to do this here with a touchpad. Actually, I don't have my PC with me, unfortunately.
Try to do this.
I'm trying. It doesn't want to zoom. Oh yeah, nice. That's not what I. Oh, God.
The other way.
No, I can't do it. Wait a second.
Try
Control Plus. Try Control Plus. Sorry, Control Plus.
I just do it like that. That's easier. Sure. Windows stuff.
You have to appreciate this image up close, I think.
Yeah, you have to. I mean,
wow.
Look at the Dark Nebula. That's just insane.
Yeah, fantastic.
And that's with an 80mm ED telescope. So nothing too fancy at 445mm of focal length. And it's just it blew my mind when I saw this. And actually, I didn't process this myself. I processed it myself, but Yasha actually helped me a lot. I'm just a freaking lazy processor, and I don't mind about anything in processing, really. And he just helped me out so much, especially pixel math and everything. I just naturally hate it, but you can do so much stuff with it, and I think I just really have to learn it, because it pays off. It really pays off. Yeah. So much to that. That's another Milky Way shot from, I don't know, 3 years back or something. You can see Andromeda there. It's not tracked or anything. It's just like a mosaic out of, I don't know how much panels, 9 or something from the foreground, a little bit background. It's nothing too special, but I've never processed it, and I found the data. I didn't even know that I took this. I think I tried to capture some meteorites in that night, and I captured one. I mean, I saw like 20 or something with my eyes, but I captured like 1. Disappointing. And that's the big prominence.
Wow.
Everybody
Already
got it. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Great.
And I think, what was it, 30, 40 times the size of Earth? I've seen an image by comparison, and the Earth would be tiny.
I think it's even larger. I saw a comparison where like Earth was here and Moon up there. So like lengthwise it was like insanely large. Just,
And
I'm not
there's
sure. And that's the
there was a funny story with that prominence. I have a photo where it actually doesn't originate on the rim. It starts from the surface, halfway through a little bit, and then it goes out. So,
I can't see this on my image because, again, quick process, like 5 minutes.
wow.
5 minutes processing, but it's amazing. And I don't have a solar scope myself. I'm just grabbing whatever is at work and doing stuff. And we had to test this particular scope. It's a 60 millimeter Lund, the pressure tuner thingy, and a single stack, not even a double stack. And
Well, that's why single stacks are used for prominences. Double stacks are used for the surface.
yeah. And we just looked through it, and everybody was stunned, like, holy crap, we have never seen such a huge prominence before. And I was just running up, getting, I don't know, some camera, and capturing it. That was pretty cool. That was a fun day. Yeah, and that's also an old image from 2021 with the ATED. A 2-panel mosaic of the Veil Nebula. And I'm not sure how many hours this is. I think 12, 6 and 6 hours for every panel. And it's also pretty nice because you can see the outer shell. I would wish to like frame it a little bit different if I do this again, so that you can see more of this extended thing down here.
You mean the filament that's coming from the network nebula or the dark nebula, whatever.
But I think back then when I shot this, I didn't even like realize that this is even there. So I think I'll have to be happy with it. And also, kudos to Yasha for helping me process. Yeah, all right. So I think that's pretty much it for me.
Nice work, Robert.
Okay.
Very nice. Great work.
I have to go to do polar alignment now.
Oh, okay.
The like 4 arc minutes. That's not too bad.
What will you do with 4 arc minutes? Still realign something? Or did you just leave it as is?
No, I just like literally left it as is 2 weeks ago. I just did nothing.
I wouldn't touch it with 4 arc minutes, but okay.
I will. I'll get it down to like point. I get it down to 10 arc seconds.
Great.
I think what we really want to say, Robert, is you need to fix your vision. You need to put a delta in there, 4 arc minutes. So in the future, you don't need it. You just look at the sky and say, okay, 4 arc minutes.
Yeah,
I got it.
I just recollimate my eyes a little bit. And
It's like, there you go, that's 4 arc minutes.
Okay, so thank you all for your shares. That was fantastic. There's one thing left. Unfortunately, I had to switch off my camera. It's just crashed. So and then the Zoom app crashed in subsequently. This was pretty bad. I don't know what happened here. So there's one last thing to do, and this is our giveaway. So I can't even show the voucher in the camera here. Let me just pick one.
How are we choosing? Are you choosing the giveaway? That's it.
There is a random. A comment checker which picks randomly a user. So I don't have influence on that. And this just checks for this keyword, this hashtag giveaway, and then the user is selected.
Sorry, we're all kind of hypnotized by Robert's cable going up. And I saw Peter looking at it as well, like, what's with the cable going up?
It's actually luxury because I have the cable like going into the shed, and I have to, it's cold or hot, I have my AC in the shed actually, and I can heat it or cool it and just stay in there. The mosquitoes are outside, I'm inside the shed. It's pretty nice.
It looks like they're trying to attack.
Yeah, they are actually. So I have to hurry up.
That's so cool. So we can watch Robert here. It even just not switches back the video to me. That's good. So I selected, or I let the website select the winner, and this is Petr L. I believe he wrote from Czech Republic. Congratulations, you won that voucher, 50 euro voucher for the TS shop. Oops, Robert is just gone. I hope he's all right. Please get in contact with me via email, which is shown here in the screen. Just drop an email with your contact details. Maybe you already have a TS customer number. Oh, great, you're back. Then please put also this number in the mail. That would be great. Shortens things a bit, but your name and address would also be okay. So, okay, that was the last point. And I want to mention one very last thing in the end. We thought, yeah, you're welcome, no problem. We thought about another live session, which is about processing, or let's say image editing. We are not sure what specifically. And I want just to ask the viewers what you are thinking of processing session with one of us. So not all of us, because that's just too many opinions maybe, but one of us can show you processing of specific target nebulas, galaxies, whatever. Would be really interesting to hear your opinion of that. So feel free to drop a comment under the videos also after this live show is done.
I also wanted to ask if anybody goes to dark sky. I guess Peter can also be in the tub. Then could we also show? We can also show people how dark sky imaging is done. It's very different than backyard imaging because you don't have flats. You don't have. It's one-shot color. So maybe that's also an idea, Torsten. We look at somebody doing remote imaging from a dark site.
Yes.
Interesting.
Absolutely, yeah. This is then, of course, a session which is a bit spontaneous because we can't plan it in advance. It's just not possible due to weather and yeah. But no problem, yes. If you subscribe to the channel, then you get a notification when a stream is coming up. Then you can also participate live by commenting. No problem with that. That would be super cool. And all of us who are doing remote imaging or with an observatory are it's pretty easy to do this sort of stream. Sure, would be cool. Okay, yeah, that was the last point. As mentioned, if you want, drop a comment. So I think we are nearly point on 2 hours. Fantastic. That's fantastic job. And thanks again to Sophie for her talk. And we are looking forward to have her on the show then regularly. The next show is planned then for October. Full moon in October is also on Sunday, the next session. Super cool. Thank you all very much for participating, for viewing, for commenting. And yeah, until next time. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Welcome, Sophie. Bye.
Thanks for having me. You guys are awesome.
Thank you for raising the bar.
Yeah, we want to see 400 hours by next time. 400 hours. That's not
God.
much.